Hi all, this is a video to give you a little bit more detail about the final assignment. You have two options for the final assignment. The first one, option one, well first of all the final assignment is worth 30%, and option one is to create a webinar, and by webinar I mean a short narrated PowerPoint presentation. You can choose to keep yourself, have a video of yourself within the PowerPoint. It can just be your voice over the PowerPoint, but we want to develop some competencies around developing PowerPoint presentations and being able to present well. These are all important career development skills for counselors and CATs. As you get closer to taking your ethics course, you'll learn that we all have an ethical obligation to provide ongoing research to our fields. And, often people leave and they feel like, well, I don't have anything else to offer, or I'm done school now, I don't have to think about that. And as a result of that, there isn't always a connection between research and practice. So it's really important that for those of you who plan to be primarily offering primarily see yourself as a practitioner as opposed to a practitioner who's involved in some research, is think about even just writing up case study presentations. And I hope that all of you will go on to present your thesis material at local and national conferences. It's a lot of work, so don't just give up on it. I see too many students do that. You work too hard on it. So let this assignment be sort of a mini career development experience for that. And so you can choose any topic of your choice so long as it has to do with career counseling. And so just remember to really keep that focus. Occasionally I get questions about, can I do this, on cancer patients? Well, if you are going to present on how to address career concerns within a counseling environment for individuals with cancer, that is perfect and on point for this assignment. But just going over, sort of with the mental health concern first, so let's say cancer patients with depression, well, that doesn't really give enough specificity around career concerns. So what specifically would I need to know as a counselor or creative art therapist about working with individuals who have cancer and depression and may need to adjust their career trajectory? So you can really personalize it, and I hope that you'll choose a population and a career concern of interest to you. It's so much easier to do research when you're passionate about it. So please take a moment to really reflect on a topic of your that would really interest you. The final presentation will be about 10 to 15 minutes in length. Abby, it is 2 minutes under, or it's 5 minutes over. That's fine. I'm not really going to be nitpicky about a couple of minutes, but definitely you don't want to, I would say less than 8 minutes, or for that matter, more than, let's say 20 minutes. So sort of keep it around that 10 to 15 minute range. You want to make sure that you have 3 peer-reviewed articles to cite within your PowerPoint presentation on your reference slide at the end. What is a peer-reviewed article? It means that it's been reviewed by experts in the field. Is a book a peer-reviewed article? Probably not. There are some books that have articles, older articles, I'll say, that were peer-reviewed. But in general, books, book chapters, things that you're going to read in your textbooks, those are not peer-reviewed. So you want to go find 3 peer-reviewed articles about your topic. And that can be about your career concern or about the population that you're focusing on in terms of that career concern. There's a lot of good resources I have under the link entitled Final Assignment about how to make and upload narrated PowerPoints to YouTube. Do you need to use YouTube in particular? No, you do not. You could use any platform that you want where you could place a link on the Week 10 discussion board to host your presentation. We just can't upload the videos directly because there's so many of them that they can, sort of mess with the Blackboard system. So just choose YouTube or another platform to upload your YouTube video. And just to make sure that you're sort of hitting out on all the particular points that we'll be weaving in and out of this quarter, you want to make sure that you have an introduction. Let us know. I would have an objective slide. Let us know what we're learning about. Tell us a little bit about what brought you to the topic. Why are you interested in this? What's your passion about? And think about how this relates to a theory of some kind. You'll see that there's a lot of theories in career counseling. And so you might just choose, Super is a very popular one. You might talk about Holland. There's a lot of different theories that you can pull from, but you want a theory that is a career counseling theorist. And so what would, if I were interested in giving a webinar on college counseling career concerns through a relational cultural lens, what would Super say are some developmental concerns? Or in this case, I could also pull in, since I'm using a theory as part of my focus, I can talk about the major tenets of the theory and how it would apply to college students in particular. Think about ethical concerns. Some of these tools and assessments were made during periods in time where work was very, had a gendered lens, if you will. And so, one of the critiques of Holland's approach of his assessment is that, you will often get women who are categorized as being, having a leaning towards caregiving, career paths, or, hair cutting, I guess, sort of careers that in the United States have often been gendered as female, or, working on cars, is looking, only men do that. So sort of these misperceptions about, who might be a good fit for a particular career path. So thinking about ethical concerns, and you'll review 2 codes, and you can apply those 2 codes or bring up specific principles from either of those codes in relating to your topic. What kind of assessment might you want to use for this population? So this is the lens I'm looking through. I'm looking through a relational cultural lens for my presentation. I want to find out how that specifically could address career concerns for college students. Are there particular assessments that I might use based on the model or framework I'm using to approach this group of individuals? And finally, last 2 parts here, are there any best practices or takeaways? What are the implications? Now that you've reviewed this literature, you've went and done some research, what would you want people to take away from your presentation? If there was, really one major idea that I might take away, that I might remember from your presentation, what would you want that to be? And finally, the last part here, how might you use it with your CAT specialty? And this is really about brainstorming, and this will start to help you frame your mind for our upcoming theories courses in the fall, because you'll want to, theories are about giving us maps. They guide us. They let us know what our relationship will be to the client. It will let us know how or if we're going to do goal setting. What kind of techniques might I use? And where, with those particular ideas within theory, where do they meet your CAT specialty? How might you utilize it creatively? Okay, so that is option 1. And option 2 is a role play. And in the role play, you can demonstrate any particular approach that you learn over this quarter in your career counseling textbook. I give the example here of using a narrative approach. So maybe you'll do a 10 to 15 minute role play where you'll demonstrate a narrative therapy approach. And you're going to provide an introduction to your video. So before you get started, before you get into character, you'll let us know what role you'll be playing and what role your, significant other, mom, friend, colleague, whoever you can get involved in the role play is fine. Whatever. Let us know what you're going to be talking about, what we should be looking for in terms of how you're implementing a particular approach. Remember to introduce yourself and build rapport. You want to demonstrate at least one intervention from your textbook. And then when you post your video to the Blackboard discussion board in week 10, you still are going to need to link 3 peer-reviewed articles to your video and briefly discuss how your intervention that you displayed, so the career counseling intervention that you have in your video, how that could be used with your specialty. And sometimes we have not just creative art therapy students in this class over the summer, sometimes our friends in couples and family join us. And so the same type of idea would apply here. You want to apply a career counseling intervention and then tell us about how that might be used within a couples and family therapy framework. When you post your role play to the classroom, you'll have a 3 to 5 paragraph analysis where you will discuss how your research, the 3 articles and whatever else you choose to bring in, relate to your role play. Don't forget to review the rubrics when you're developing your final assignments. Often there's these little pieces that people forget to keep in their videos, such as providing an introduction and telling us about what we're about to watch. That's a common part of the video that people forget. And so just use the rubrics. I tried to design them in a way that would guide you in developing your work. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, never hesitate to reach out. I love this part of the class, doing this work with you, and I'm here for you. Okay, so if you have any questions, just let me know.